Ladies and gentlemen, if you blinked, you missed it. What we have accomplished and what we have done in this short time that we have been able to bring about awareness, bring about an awakening. What we have done is we've caused a consciousness shift. Now what are we saying? Well, there have been more than 300,000 our-style Treasury money orders written. And guess what? We are now able to show people and prove to people that it was nothing illegal about that process. The system has had to adjust because of our way of being literal and technical at the same time. Using the system's weapons against the system and the system's laws against the system is what we have perfected. We have decided not to bow down. We have decided not to cower. We have decided to infuse intelligence and understanding and reasoning in people. We know what our responsibilities are, but now we are going to employ many to assist us in helping to have a greater impact. So we tell you, please grab hold and stay on board. This ride is just beginning. Thank you once again. Your friends here at the Redress Right organization.
Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents, we're going to play a little bit of Gladys Knight. This song is called Next Time. Well, let's say that this is an appropriate song because this is going to be a video about my unique experiences with the Puerto Rican Justice Service. What was that experience like, sir? Well, let me explain what happened. On or about August 28, 2012, I happened to be traveling along the road. And then 30 minutes later, I continued traveling but didn't realize what happened in between those 30 minutes. Just that there was blood on the back of my hands and there was a cut on my forehead. Actually, a big, huge cut on my forehead. Apparently, it hit the pavement. And it's a good thing I don't have any hair, or that would have been a really devastating experience. Well, okay. Sorry, I have a mobile upload address, and so it tells me I just changed that. Wasn't trying. Just want y'all to see that this Redress Right, he happens to be in good standing as far as YouTube is concerned. So I think they like him. Alright, but let me finish with the experience about the traveling along the roadway here in Puerto Rico, in Puerto Rican territory. Now, I traveled along that road and lost those 30 minutes. So I knocked on the door of a neighbor who was the first house nearby, less than 25 feet away. Very dark area, so there are no lights, street lights or anything. And so she looks out the door and she sees this guy standing outside her door. He's got a cut and, you know, he's asking her if she speaks English, and he's saying policia, telling her to call the police. She called her boyfriend, who's a police officer for the local police department, and a couple of the officers showed up about 15 minutes after I placed the call. But the local congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, I called one of the members there, and they showed up first and gave me the assurance, don't worry about anything, we'll be right there. They came, wasn't worried about getting blood on the seat of their car, and it's a pretty nice truck, SUV, and I was more concerned about getting blood in their car than about getting in the car. And the police came and they followed us to the hospital. But the officer gave this guy with this massive concussion. By the way, as a result of the accident, I can no longer drive at night. And I really hate admitting that, because if it's a dark area, my eyes do not adjust. They don't react to the light and dark like they used to since the accident. So there was some damage, and the doctor did tell me that because of the fracture, yes, there was a fracture of the skull. that it was very close to the ocular nerve, and that there might be some residual issues, and certainly there is. But I can live with that. I don't need to drive at night. You don't drive? You're right. I don't drive, so that's why I don't need to drive at night. But I probably won't be traveling by way of automobile as the individual behind the wheel of the automobile at night either. Okay, the whole trip from California to Florida, I did not drive at night. As a matter of fact, because of my being so tired, the rest of the guys took on all of the driving, and I really appreciate that. Although I wanted to drive, I didn't think they felt comfortable with me being so fatigued with me driving such a long distance. Oh well. Well, he gave me 3 tickets. Of course I signed it without reservation of rights. So I signed it with reservation of rights without prejudice. And I gave it the pin back to him. I had the wherewithal to sign it UCC 1-308 and under protest. The officer came to my home 4 weeks later, knocking on my door on a Saturday evening at 9 p.m., non-business hours. And he had someone, as I mentioned in the last video, from the local congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses come and translate. I ripped that individual a new one. I told him the two had nothing to do with each other, and that this was not his business, and he needs to stay out of it. That if they need a translator, then they know what time, and they know where I live, and they know how to get in touch with me. But to sit up there and come to your house and get you and bring you all the way to mine, I don't play that. Basically is how I translated the information. Well, the officer told me I needed to be that Monday. This was about this was about November the 3rd and November the 4th. And I had to be on a plane November 6th. So he wanted me to show up in court November 5th, the Monday, whatever day Monday was. And I told him no. He still scheduled it for the 5th. So I showed up on the 5th. They weren't ready. Judge wasn't ready. They weren't ready for me either, because I already had a countersuit already prepared. Well, ladies and gentlemen, not only did I give these idiots my countersuit, but they postponed it to another day. Told them, I can't make it that day. I'm going to be out of town. I'll be in California. They said, when will you be back? I said, I will be back after the 15th of November. They said, we're going to schedule it for the 26th. I said, you do whatever you want to do. And I signed that under protest. And I show up on the 26th. Now, I'm still waiting for them to file my documents because they're telling me you can't file these documents. They have to be in Espanol. I told them no. The Constitution was written in English and all the laws are written in English. I'm filing this in English. No, Puerto Rico is blah, blah, blah. I don't care what this is. I'm filing these documents in this courtroom. Or you put me something in writing telling me that I can't do it. Other than that, I don't want to hear it. 3 hours later, they were filing the documents. And then the court was telling me that I needed to come back at 1:30. I said, no, I cannot come back at 1:30. I don't do very well in the afternoon. So we're going to have to schedule this for another day. Of course, I reserved my rights. And they scheduled it for another day. That day was today. Now, I go there and I say, you will file my countersuit. Because they took my countersuit and they filed it as a civil suit. And made it a whole new case, gave it a whole new case number. No, you will file this under this case number for this hearing today. And you will file this as a response to that judge telling me I have to pay filing fees where there is no law requiring filing fees to be paid for a common law complaint. And all of you who thinks that common law does not exist anymore, the Credit River versus Daly case, or Daly versus Credit River, however you want to put the name, of 1968 was a common law lawsuit. And the 7th Amendment says any suit or complaint, controversy in excess of $20 shall have the right to a common law trial by a common law jury under common law rules. So, common law rules? That's right, common law rules. That's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. You have the right to common law, so start insisting on common law trials. And if they're bringing a suit against you in a criminal court, start insisting on a common law trial. Tell them that you are now going to exercise your legal name's right to a common law trial. Supreme Court has ruled, this is Maria. We talked about that, the Jacksons from 2300 Jackson Street album. All right. You have that right under common law to a common law trial. Now, how do you know that the criminal proceedings exceed? Because there's a bond associated with that trial. And it is more than $20. So start insisting on your common law rights under the common law amendment. Yes, most people are not going to talk about the 7th Amendment because they've been ignoring the 7th Amendment. Then exercise that 6th Amendment right. Well, they say you can't bring up the Constitution in their courts. Of course you can. Of course you can. Tell them if you can't bring it up in that court, then they better state on the record what the jurisdiction is. And if they can't state what the jurisdiction is, then you will tell them it's common law jurisdiction. And until they put it on and for the record, you are going to proceed under common law jurisdiction. Then you file your declaration of executorship, including the one that we just told you about, that we just put on the record. And those of you who have the ability of going to the Secretary of State, get it all apostille. Get an apostille on that thing. It will do you a lot of good. Now, we're going to be updating it again. Give me about a month. Sorry, but I'm just that busy. Well, let me tell you what went on with the case. These wonderful people had me there today, and they wouldn't file my documents. They wouldn't file my counter complaint. So I told them, I said, I need to speak to the supervisor. And she gave me the same wasn't paying attention to what she was saying because I told her, no, you will file my document. Now I'm getting a little bit louder than her. I'm actually raising my voice to a tone that there, as you can tell, in this room there's an echo because the buildings here are made out of cement. Very few wood structures here. So there's an echo because it's at least 8 inches thick worth of cement. So everybody's listening. Now I got police officers coming and standing around me, behind me. They don't even think that I see them behind me, but I do see them behind me because there's a glass window there. But I'm ignoring them because they don't mean nothing to me. I'm not disturbing nobody's peace, but she will file my documents. So I asked her for her supervisor. She said, I am the supervisor. I didn't ask you if you were the supervisor. I said, I want to speak to your supervisor. You know, they always do that. I am the supervisor. Nobody asked you what you were. Okay. They didn't have her supervisor's telephone number. They didn't have the administrative division's telephone number. And so I told them, I said, don't worry about it. So I called someone in New Mexico at 7 a.m. It was 7 a.m. for her, 10 a.m. for me. And she was still wrestling with the 10 degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting in a t-shirt in the middle of my living room, and I don't have a heater in my home here in Puerto Rico because it doesn't get that cold. I sleep with a fan on at night, okay? Last night I didn't, but I sleep with a fan on so that I can wake up comfortable. So I called her up. She looks up the district court, United States Federal District Court. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to be in the United States Federal District Court. You want to be in the United States District Court for the territory or for the state of. You don't want to be in for the district of. And you let them know that you do not want to be in the district court that's part of the federal zone or the federal area. You want to be in the United States of America District Court. Just that simple. If they don't understand what you mean, tell them then you want all of your documents to be captioned United States of America District Court and not the Federal District Court or the district of some federal zone. Tell them that's in compliance with the Buck Act, that you are not a resident, you are not a taxpayer, and you do not reside in the federal zone or the federal area. And so the Buck Act does not apply. Also in your documents, you are to indicate that the Interpretations Act does not apply in your instance because you are competent, you are of mature age, and you are completely capable of dictating, decreeing directing and speaking for yourself. And you don't need someone to interpret your words. The Interpretations Act allows the courts to sit up there and construe what you mean and what you meant and how you meant it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they come to me, they hand me this bull that they can't do it. I call the district court. The district court says, don't worry about it. Send it to us. We'll send it to them. We'll get their attention for you. Basically, what's the gist of the conversation? Told them, hey, that's all right. I wasn't expecting that. So then I called the Supreme Court of the state. They give me the administrator's telephone number, and I call the administrator's telephone number, which is busy. But I go back in there and say the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico has asked me to ask for the presiding judge of this court. Tell her I need to speak to the presiding judge of the court. I just got off the phone with the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico. 15 minutes later, after they tell me that the presiding judge she'll be out until Wednesday of this week, and this is Monday. 15 minutes later, I'm being told, here are the charges. Now remember, they were supposed to present those to me the very first hearing. Never saw a copy of anything. Here are the charges. This case has been dismissed. The translator never showed, so the judge has decided to dismiss this case. And I looked at him, what do you mean he dismissed it? He can't dismiss this case. I just gave you a notice of removal to federal district court. I'm really arguing with them because I don't realize what just happened. You see, they've been trying to find out who I was all this time. They've been running my name through the system, but there's too many people out there with my name because they had me listed as Brett Jones. I never gave them Brett Jones. I never told them my name was Brett Jones. They got that from one of the members of the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. And it's okay because I was in an accident, so they don't know about this. They don't know about this understanding of what the name is. Okay? They're regular people. And that's okay. That's why I told him to butt out, because he didn't understand exactly what was going on, all of the intricacies. Well, I'm going, wait a minute, after I get back in my car, because I'm upset. They dismissed this case. You don't get to dismiss this case when you want to claim that I was driving and nobody saw me driving. You want to claim I was driving without a license and nobody saw me driving. I was driving without insurance and nobody saw me driving. And that I was driving without registration and no one saw me driving. No one. I laid on the ground for 30 minutes. Nobody saw me driving. Except for the person who forced me off the road. But, ladies and gentlemen, I was going after the officer for falsifying public records because he said I was driving. And according to the ticket, he is saying that he had first-hand knowledge of that. I was going to perjure this idiot on the stand. That's why I told him, if y'all really want to play this game, I will play this game. I sent the letter to their office. Do you know they ignored it? Do you know they kept sending it back? And they finally accepted one of the 6 letters I sent? Oh, once again, ladies and gentlemen, certified mail is only for your records. Certified mail is not proving anything, okay? If you're going to send something, if it's very important, spend the extra $15 because certified mail is $4. And to send it blah, 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 it's going to be about $20. So spend the extra $15 and send it registered mail with a registered mail receipt. Just that simple, people. Because that's actual mail. Or utilize postage stamps, but postage stamps does not dictate the cost of the envelope unless you put stamps on the envelope ahead of time. So you know it's going to be certified mail, right? So buy 4 $1 stamps and put those on the envelope. And then put the certified mail sticker on the envelope and then pay the difference. Because you can have postage stamps put on a certified mail. Now it's mail because it has a postage stamp, and stamps are still currency. Don't let them tell you that they're not. They are still currency. Just found that out again. We were told they weren't, but now we know that they are. Alright, now it becomes mail. But when they put that metered mail, and I told some of you to send it metered mail because it's a poor man's certified mail, and it still is a poor man's certified mail. But you do yourself a lot better by doing it certified and then putting the $5 worth of certification stamps on there, meaning $1 stamps. Because it's going to be about $4.95 for the certified mail. And you don't need the green card return receipt. You don't need that. Because they put it online now. So all you have to do is go online and get a copy of it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain what went on in this court today when they dismissed these 2 or 3 tickets. First, you don't dismiss a failure to have insurance. You don't dismiss a failure to drive without a license. You don't dismiss a failure to produce registration. You know how much money that equates to in their system? So you don't get rid of those 3 tickets. You reschedule the hearing. You know how they reschedule these hearings month and month and month and months on out? Okay? Let me please get your attention so that you understand what I understood when I drove away. They finally found out who I was. I hadn't put in my declaration of executorship here in Puerto Rico. I hadn't even put in the au apostille. But they finally found out who I was. And all of a sudden, the case gets dismissed. This is not the first time I've had a case just simply dismissed when it was not supposed to be dismissed. Some of you have had traffic tickets, and you know how long they can draw out a traffic ticket. So let's go August 28th, September 28th. 1 month. October, 2 months. November, 3 months. The ticket's only been around for 3 months. Sorry. How long do they have to prosecute a ticket? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? 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 Seinfeld? They have... Oh, Alex Trebek. What is your answer? I'll take 6 months to win, Alex. Okay. They have 6 months. On a regular traffic ticket. 6 months. I'm told here the traffic ticket was a criminal issue and not a civil issue. Did they not get my attention? Oh, you want to make this criminal? Well, let's play. I told everybody I could have made this go away by just saying that the officer simply lied. He didn't see anything because if he did see it, how come he didn't provide assistance as he's required to do by law? How come he waited 30 minutes? And how come he did not wait on the scene until help arrived? If he saw the incident like he claimed, I could have had the case drawn out easily, and I knew that. And they knew that. But to simply dismiss this case without rhyme or reason? It's okay, Michael. I know it's human nature. But I just want to know, why did they think they could do me that way? Did they think I was just going to sit back? So now I get to go to the federal district court and file that counter complaint. Actually, it's going to be an outright complaint against the state of Puerto Rico. What did the state of Puerto Rico do? Well, they said I needed a license to travel. People, you travel by airline. Do you need a license to travel by airline? You travel by your feet. Do you need a license to travel by way of your feet? So where is the law stating that you need a license to travel by automobile or by car? Now, you do need a license to operate a motor vehicle because it's a vessel. So you do need a license to drive a motor vehicle, but you don't need a license to operate a car. Well, no, let's get that word out of there. Operate. You need a license to operate a vehicle. Operate, drive, and... yeah, operate, drive, what's the other one? Those are the two main ones, to operate a motor vehicle and to drive a motor vehicle. You don't want to use the word operate when it comes to car or automobile, so get that word out of your head. No operation, no vehicle. Always car, automobile. Car, automobile. Always travel and not drive. Travel, you don't drive. And that all goes with the interstate compact that all the states signed with each other. In order for them to be part of the union, they have to allow free travel between the states amongst the people of the United States of North America and U.S. citizens. You don't believe me? Go and look it up. I've known this since I was probably 16. And when I became a bus driver in, man, when did I become a bus driver? I think it was 1988. I drove, I was, at the age of 18, I'm driving a school bus, and I'm taking the kids to school who I went to school with the year before. So here I am, I just got out of school, I'm driving a school bus, and I'm driving for the school I just graduated from. Well, didn't graduate because they kicked me out 3 weeks before graduation because they didn't like me. I was challenging them too much. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to let you know about the wonderful experience with the Puerto Rican government, the Puerto Rican courts. But before they get their legs underneath them, because now they have an understanding of who they're dealing with, before they can even think about coming at me crooked, I head them off at the path by putting in the documentation. I've already put in one lawsuit against the state, and now I'm going to revamp that lawsuit in federal district court, and I'm going to go after them. Only just so that they understand just to leave me alone, because that's all I ask. I don't want anything more than just for people to leave me alone. I don't want it to be human nature. I want them just to leave me alone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted just to take this time to, at the end of this video, to let you know about the mass action lawsuit. This is the idea that we have. I have my success in courts. I've had several opportunities of having success. I'm still at an 84% win percentage, and I like that. I get what I need done. The mass action lawsuit, I won't be the spearhead of this. My hope is to do what was suggested some time ago. Start the lawsuit, bring up the right points, and look for a law firm who'd want to take it over, stipulating and specifying to them that we will not go for a settlement that is under a specific amount. We will give them the amount that we will settle for, but no less. Just that simple, no compromise. Well, they're saying, tell them they can say that all they want. Tell them if we go to court and we go before a jury, it's going to be 5 times that amount and they know it. So either they settle for this or they don't settle at all. And they have to pay attorney's fees. We're not going to make attorney's fees part of the settlement. We're going to make the attorney's fees separate from the settlement. And that's what people have been failing to do. Okay? They've been failing to say that, no, the attorney's fees are separate. The lawsuit is separate from the attorney's fees. So the attorney's fees are separate, and they got to pay the attorney's fees separately. Now, if they don't want to do this, produce the discovery that we asked for, which will prove that they did this, they did that, they did this, they did that. This is what we're about to do. Now, if you're not part of the suit, then you're not part of the commission. If you're not part of an honorary member of the Legal Redress Commission, then you have no say-so. You have no coming up later saying, well, I wanted to be a part of it, but my grandmama was in the hospital and she had them arthritis, and you know, I wish I could. Oh, but the fact that you guys got all that money, oh no, I want to be a part of it, you know. Mr. Redress, I've been around you I've known you since, you know. And I just remembered something. I tell all of you that we've been on the net for a little bit over 2 years now. We started November 29, 2011. But when you go on the YouTube channel, you'll see that it says something like January something 2011. And November 29, 2010. Okay. And so you see the YouTube channel says we started January 2011. The reason for that is because our first website wasn't redressright.org. We changed to redressright.org. So that's why you see it being that way. All right. See, just gave you a little bit of trivia. Now, I just want somebody to understand that we could be here always, but we plan on being here forever. There is so much to remind you all of what to put in documents and what not to put in documents. So let's do that. I have you all here. I got your attention. Let's show you what I just sent to the court so that you'll see. The complaint was filed in English. I gave a little bit of that when I first started talking. So let's find out. Oh, if you notice up here, it doesn't say anything about this software needs to be updated. We took care of that. Okay? Got rid of all that annoyance. Alright, this complaint was filed in English and will be communicated in English, will be conducted in English. This body is free to get a translator if necessary. Change of judge is hereby demanded as a matter of right. The order received from this body is hereby revoked, rescinded, terminated, canceled. As this body lacks the jurisdiction to exercise authority and or to command this non-citizen national American, as he is not a United States citizen, he is not a corporate fiction, he is not a collective entity, he is not within the federal zone, he is not subject to the Buck Act, and he is subject to the rules, or is he subject to the rules of this corporate body. The statutory time limit for rebuttal has terminated. Concerning the grantor's assertion of rights, you see, that's been on the record since January 12th, 2012, and no one has rebutted that affidavit. No one, to this day. And no contract will be entered into without written consent on the part of the presenter. Now, this is just something I just came up with this morning. So what I'll do is I'll do a video on the actual complaint, and I rushed these complaints just like I rushed this morning. But you see, I didn't have to do no spell checks or anything because the actual system is actually starting to catch up with me. Those of you whose mortgages I'm working on, we are getting ready to write the comptroller of the currency. And we're going to remind them of what their fiduciary duties were and that they are the oversight committee and that we will hold them accountable for the actions of the children because they are the parent. We're going to make sure they stay within the law, okay? Just that simple. We'll take them to court. Yes, I still think that there is redress in the court when you bring it the right way, okay? And we are going to announce the lawsuit publicly to 120,000 different outlets. Just give me a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I think he said it best. Yeah, see, I think that says it best. So, I ask that all of you have a good day, a good afternoon, and a good whatever it is you need to have good as we continue to look for ways to acquire redress, to bring solutions. By the way, this document I signed as grantor, governor, administrator, executor, beneficiary, and presenter, because that's who I am. I'm a man of many different facets and many different titles. I don't mind having a title, and you shouldn't either. It's how you utilize that title, how you use that title. Remember, Dean Clifford told all of you about usufruct. I wish he would have went into explaining to people what usufruct was. So in our last video, we decided to do that. Use of what? Okay, so usufruct, when you understand that it just says that you get the benefits of someone else's property. That's what the whole title is. That's what the whole authorized representative is. Social Security number. You receive those benefits. But I don't want benefits anymore. I want entitlements because I am entitled to this. And you can insist on your entitlements. And I'm going to persist and insist on these things until we find the absolute solution that works for everyone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you once again. Please enjoy your day, and thank you for spending the time. Your friends here at the Legal Redress Commission at redressright.org, redressright.com, and redress.right on Skype, as well as youtube.com/user/redressright.
Well, this is Robert Corizon, coming to you live from outside the headquarters of the NWO. The world leaders are now figuring out how they're going to tally up the spoils and divvy them out to each other. Or what's happening at this very moment is the world leaders have come together, realizing that only 1.6 billion people still remain. They will have a workforce of 1.5 billion. to take care of the 100 million of the elite. Now, of the elite, there will only be 50 super elite redress. All diseases known to be detrimental to mankind of the past 21 centuries have now been eradicated. It has now been discovered and revealed that most of the strangest diseases were caused by the governments to map out their agenda. The agenda they labeled as Agenda 21. As the 21st century came to an end, nobody was the wiser. Nobody mentioned this. Nobody announced this. And so now we hail a new dawn, a new era of supremacy and population control. This is Robert Corizon coming to you live from WMCVJ Organization.